here at theoi.com is a definition of the Cynocephaloi. The Cynocephaloi, or the Cynocephali, were a tribe of dog-headed men native to Africa and India. The name Cynocephalus means dog-headed from the Greek words, dog and head. Let's look to the ancient readings first. Classic literature quotes. Hesiod, Catalogs of Women fragment. Chili Peen, thank you for the super chat. Chili Peen says, from Elizabeth, so happy to see you again. Happy to see you too, Elizabeth. And welcome to Chili, her son. Happy to see both of you guys. And a pretty sunflower in there too. I love sunflowers. Hesiod in the Catalogs of Women fragment. From the Oxyrhynchus papyri. Oxyrhynchus. The Boreades pursued the Harpies to the lands of the Masagatai and the proud Hemicynes, or half-dog men, of the Catidai, the underground folk. Huge Gaia bare these to Apophos, Althiopes, and Libys, the Libyans. Gaia was the mother by Apophos of all the tribes of Africa. Okay, there's a mention of the half-dog men there. In Hesiod, Catalogue of Women, fragment 44, no one could accuse Hesiod of ignorance. Though he speaks of hemicynes, half-dog people, and the macrocephaloi, the great-headed people of the pygmies. And that's the end of that quote. Then from Herodotus, I really should have read these in front of, learned these pronunciations ahead of time. For the eastern region of Libya, which the nomads inhabit, is low-lying and sandy as far as the Triton River. But land west of this, where the farmers live, is exceedingly mountainous and wooded and full of wild beasts. In that country are the huge snakes and the lions, and the elephants and bears and asps, the horned asses, the cynocephali, and the headless men that have their eyes in their chests, as the Libyans say, and the wild men and women, besides many other creatures not fabulous. And of course, the cynocephali mentioned here are the dog-headed. And Ctesias, the Indica fragment, Greek historian about 4th century BC. On these Indian mountains there live men with the head of a dog, whose clothing is the skin of wild beasts. They speak no language, but bark like dogs, and in this manner make themselves understood by each other. Their teeth are larger than those of dogs. Their nails are those like that of animals, but longer and rounder. They inhabit the mountains as far as the river Indus. Their complexion is swarthy. They are extremely just, like the rest of the Indians with whom they associate. They understand the Indian language, but are unable to converse, only barking or making signs with their hands and fingers by way of reply, like the deaf and dumb. They are called by the Indians Calistri, in Greek cynocephali, or dog-headed. They live on raw meat, and they number about 120,000. The cynocephali living on the mountains do not practice any trade, but live by hunting. When they have killed an animal, they roast it in the sun. They also rear numbers of sheep, goats, and asses, drinking the milk of the sheep and whey made from it. They eat the fruit of the Septicora, from whence ember is procured, since it is sweet. They also dry it and keep it in baskets, as the Greeks keep their dried grapes. They make rafts which they load with this fruit, together with well-cleaned purple flowers, and 260 talents of ember, with the same quantity of the purple dye, and 1,000 additional talents of ember, which they send annually to the King of India. They exchange the rest for bread, flour, and cotton stuffs with the Indians, from whom they also buy swords for hunting wild beasts, bows and arrows, flour and cotton stuffs with... I'm sorry, went to the line before that. And being very skillful in drawing the bow and hurling the spear. They cannot be defeated in war, since they inhabit lofty and inaccessible mountains. Every 5 years, the king sends them a present of 300,000 bows, just as many spears, 120,000 shields, and 50,000 swords. They do not live in houses, but in caves. They set out for the chase with bows and spears, and as they are very swift afoot, they pursue and soon overtake their quarry. The women have a bath once a month. The men do not have a bath at all, but only wash their hands. They anoint themselves 3 times a month with oil made from milk, and wipe themselves with skins. The clothes of men and women alike are not skins with the hair on it, but skins tanned and very fine. The richest wear linen clothes, but they are few in number. They have no beds, but sleep on leaves or grass. He who possesses the greatest number of sheep is considered the richest, and so in regard to their other possessions. All, both men and women, have tails above their hips, like dogs, but longer and more hairy. They are just and live longer than any other men, 170 years, sometimes 200. Then from Aelian, on animals, from Greek natural history, circa 2nd century AD. In the same part of India as the crimson dye beetles are born the Cynocephali, the dog heads, as they are called, a name which they owe to their physical appearance and nature. For the rest, they are of human shape, and go about clothed in the skins of beasts. And they are upright, and they injure no man. And though they have no speech, there's another writer that agrees on that. And though they have no speech, they do howl, yet they understand the Indian language. Wild animals are their food, and they catch them with the utmost ease, for they are exceedingly swift afoot. And when they have caught them, they kill and cook them, not over a fire, but by exposing them to the sun's heat, after they have shredded them into pieces. They also keep goats and sheep. And while their food is the flesh of wild beasts, their drink is the milk of the animals they keep. I have mentioned them along with brute beasts, as is logical, for their speech is inarticulate, unintelligible, and not that of man. And another one from Aelian, in a separate part of On Animals. After traversing the Egyptian oasis, one is confronted for 7 whole days with utter desert. Beyond this live the human Conopenae, the dog faces, along the road that leads to Ethiopia. It seems that these creatures live by hunting gazelles and antelopes. Further, they are black in appearance, and they have the head and teeth of a dog. And since they resemble this animal, it is very natural that I should mention them here. In a book on animals, they are, however, not endowed with speech, but utter a shrill squeal. Beneath their chin hangs down a beard. We may compare it with the beards of the serpents. And strong and very sharp nails cover their hands. Their whole body is covered with hair, another respect in which they resemble dogs. They are very swift afoot, and know the regions that are inaccessible. That is why they appear so hard to capture. And again, in another section of On Animals, Aelian continues. It occurs to me now to mention the following additional facts relating to the cynocephali. If one finds some edible object with a shell on it, such as almonds, acorns, nuts, it strips the shell off and cleans it out, after first breaking it out most intelligently. and it knows that the contents are good to eat, but that the outside is to be thrown away. And it will drink wine. And if it is served boiled or cooked meat, it will eat its fill. It likes its food well seasoned, but food boiled without any care it dislikes. If it wears clothes, it is careful of them. And it does everything else I have described. If you put it while still tiny to a woman's breast, it will suck the milk like a baby.